Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about what could be a somewhat controversial subject, and and that is the subject of, I don't have my title up, whether or not voice lessons should include music literacy training. Should every voice teacher and coach teach every one of their students written music? That is our subject today. Now, this can be a controversial subject in our community. Some voice professionals wonder about it. They feel a little bit squeezed time-wise, and how are they going to fit that in? And is it really their job? And they have different feelings about it. And some voice professionals are not only certain that they should use their time that way, but they have very strong opinions about it. So, if you're confident about the need to teach written music for your classical students or your music theater students, but you're not as confident about whether or not or how to teach your singers of popular styles, then you have come to the right place today. Because that is what we're doing, and I am glad you're here with me today or on the replay. In our world, nothing is hard and fast. Our world of private voice teachers, particularly indie voice teachers, we have to try to do our best for each of our students individually. But many voice pros feel that every student should have music literacy, and that as the person giving them instruction on their instrument, that the voice coach needs to be the one that is teaching that music literacy. I mean, we're musicians and we are teaching people who are developing their musical ability. So aren't we almost obligated to teach them that written language of their art form? Maybe. Maybe. It depends on a number of things. And we're going to unpack some of those things today, so stay with me. I am Meredith Colby, and I support voice teachers and coaches to create confident teaching and singing of microphone-based styles. I'm a voice coach specializing in popular styles, and I teach classes to voice professionals in neurovocal, which is the subject of my book, Money Notes. Neurovocal gives voice teachers and coaches amazing tools to confidently teach popular styles in their studios. The doors are open. Open to the doors for the second and final offering of Neurovocal certification for 2022. This is the month to register, my friends, because the class is great. First of all, the class is great. Also, it won't happen again this year. And also, I offer a huge pre-sale discount during the month of April. So if you've been putting it off and you know you want to take the class, absolutely. Now's the time. Save the money. In fact, if you want to listen in on a class, I posted a short video from my current class to my page, meredithcolby.neurovocal on Facebook for it was my April 9 post. So if you're looking on the replay and you want to look and see that, it's on April 9. If you've been wondering about the class, just take the 3 minutes and check that out. And then if you are more interested, you can go to the information page on my site, which is there we go, with meredithcolby.com, and you can book a free appointment with me if you want, and we can meet and talk about what is on your mind. So thank you for being here with me today or on the replay. Please contribute your thoughts, your questions, your experiences. I love to get your comments and your questions during the broadcast or after the broadcast. On the replay, I always check the comments afterward. Please share the hearts and thumbs so I don't feel all alone just sitting here. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and follow. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now, my freebie today is a link to the article. Here it is. There we go. Why Singers Are Stupid. Do you love that? Very provocative title. This is one of my more popular posts and explains something that every voice professional deals with and nobody talks about. So put the word charts in the comments and the Neurovocal bot will deliver that unto you. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can find that link in the comments below. So let's get to it here. Most voice teachers, not all, but most, come from a background where they had college voice or instrumental lessons. Many come from a background in music theater or opera. It's very common. Many are people who started playing an instrument before or at the same time that they started taking voice lessons or singing. So if you're one of these people, a college-trained singer, a theatrical singer, or an instrumentalist and singer, then you probably learned how to read music. You may be more or less proficient. I have a friend who has a master's degree in vocal performance and is not as proficient as you would think, but she can still do it because she had to do it. We have to do it, so we do it. If you did learn to read and speak music, then you learned how empowering it can be to be musically literate, right? I mean, being musically literate lets you communicate with other musicians. It lets you learn from a printed page. It lets you accompany yourself as you sing, if you want to do that. You may have learned solfege along the way and become one of those like crackerjack sight readers that everybody in choir wants to sit next to, that person. I think we can all agree that knowing how to read music when you need to read music is very empowering. And, okay, so now I have some pictures. Here's my first picture. See that? As soon as you saw that, you had the name of the object in your mind, right? And you would probably just as quickly have the name of this object in your mind when you see it. These two things represent concepts in your brain. That concept is attached to other concepts, and those concepts allow you to understand these two things in a particular way. Now, with that in mind, I want you to play with this idea with me for a minute. Let us pretend you have never seen one of these in your life. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of that picture and just pick up a real one. You've never seen this before in your life, okay? Now, I'm going to hand this to you, and what is the first thing you're going to do? You're going to discover things about this object. You will see that it is very smooth, it is cool, it has this dippy sort of diggy shape to it. You'll find that it makes noise when you hit it against something, and that you can maybe use it as a little tool. Like you can it's cool when you put it against your skin. So you're going to find all these things about this little metal curvy thing. It's just full of possibilities, right? It's truly just a wonderful object. There's only one problem with your current relationship with this object, and that is that when you need to talk to someone about it, or you need to ask for one, what are you going to do? What are you going to call it? You don't have a name for your concept yet. This silver, metal, smooth, bangy, curvy, diggy thing, you may get what you asked for, but you may not. So you're with me on this analogy, right? You're getting it? If I don't know the rules for music, if I have not been trained to read written music and communicate in the accepted parlance of written music, then music may hold possibilities for me that it may not hold for a trained musician. For me, music is an aural experience. It's aural and it's sensory, right? It's not as much of a visual experience, although visual is a sense. Okay, the other senses that are not that, right? I'm feeling the music in my body as I sing or I play guitar or something. So it's an aural and a proprioceptive or kinesthetic experience. So I have expectations for music. Yes, of course I do. I've been listening to music my whole life, and I have intuited many of the elements that create the music that I like, music or types of music that I like to listen to. But I may not be aware that those elements are actually rules. And I may not feel that I need to meet certain expectations for the way that music plays out. In the fields of music theater, or classical music, or music education, or if you are a freelance musician of any genre, you kind of have to learn the language, or at least some of the language of written music, because you must communicate. I am live. Okay. In my example with the spoon, we find it very handy that we can ask for a spoon when we need one. We have a concept and we have a name for that concept, and the name is spoon. We don't have to describe the spoon to communicate about the spoon. We just say, please hand me that spoon. And since the other person shares the exact same spoon concept with us, it has a name, they hand us a spoon. When we need to learn music quickly, when we're working and creating in an environment where fluency in the language of music really speeds up everything, then it's necessary to speak the language. Example, if you are a professional music theater actor and you have 2 weeks between when you get handed the script and when you are going to go on stage with an audience, you have to learn to speak music really quickly because that is not a luxury. That is a necessity. And we need to be able to say, hand me that spoon, as it were. Many band singers and singer-songwriters live in a different world, though. In their world, music literacy has a different meaning and a different application. When you gain abilities in music literacy, you're learning a type of a language. For almost everyone, it is not a native language. It has to be learned. And like all languages, it takes time and diligence to learn it. And you have to have opportunities to practice it. Most importantly, you have to either want to learn it or be in a situation where you have to learn it. Otherwise, you won't, because learning a language is hard work. It's a lot of work. If you want to know more about that, put charts. Where's my trigger? There we go. Put charts in the chat to get why singers are stupid. Or if you're watching on YouTube, find that link in the post description below. You will like that. Trust me. So here's the thing. Your band singer does not need to know how to read music. I said it. Dum, dum, dum. If your band singer or your singer-songwriter says to you, hey, voice teacher or coach, I would really like to learn to read music and write my music with a pencil or a computer program. I would like to learn that. Great. Fabulous. They need to know certain music literacy skills that are not the same skills that are used in classical or music theater. And what those skills are is a subject for another live stream. We're not going to get to that today, although I will touch on it. Stay with me if you want to know. But they mostly will not do that. They mostly will not do that because they simply don't use written music in the world they live in. Musicians in bands overwhelmingly create by ear. Singer-songwriters create music using the incredibly available and cheap recording technology that we now have available to us. We're recording our song ideas on our phones that we have with us all the time. It's just, we can remember things. We can remember these ideas we have in this oral medium in an oral fashion. Music is an oral art form, and they interact with it orally, not visually. And I bet you anything that the captioning thing in Facebook is going to say orally. It's not orally, it's aurally, of the ears. They just play with spoons, so to speak, in a way, without necessarily having a rigid concept about silverware. Most popular songs, here's your fun fact for the day. Most popular songs go from inception to creation to recording without anyone ever taking pen to paper, as it were, right? Nothing written, you know what I mean, written down. If the song becomes popular, then some nice college-educated musician at Hal Leonard is going to transcribe what they are hearing so that you can buy it as sheet music. But do not imagine for a moment that it went the other way around. It did not. Don't imagine that the song was written first and then recorded. That's not how it happened. If you are a voice teacher who values music literacy and feels strongly that your students should learn music basics, I am not trying to change your mind. I'm just suggesting that you consider your audience when making the choice about how to spend your students' lesson time. I mean, as an indie teacher, you have to get buy-in from that student. Because if they don't see the relevance of learning to read notes on a page, they're just not going to practice. You know that. And they need to practice in order to gain fluency in that skill. So if they're not going to practice, what are you doing with your lesson time, right? Think about your band singer and your singer-songwriter. And then remember that written music is a way to communicate about music with other musicians. Generally, that's how written music came about, right? Because if you were in Vienna and you had to communicate an idea to somebody in Berlin, you had to write it down there, that we have a way, right? So, that being the case, wait, where is it? There we go. What does my student need to communicate? Exactly. Or understand. I should have said communicate or understand, but that's what I have. Depending on their situation, they may need to know about song form. So that would mean you need to know about song form too, so that they can indicate sections of a song for rehearsal purposes, so that every single song doesn't have to go back to the top. Thank you, whoever just gave me that thumb, so I know I'm not alone. Or they may need to know about what is a chord and how is it built. Because if they are expected to make up harmonies on the fly, or even make up harmonies at all in a rehearsal, they need to know. Your band singer or singer-songwriter would probably benefit from knowing about the concept. It's Mitch. Hi, Mitch. The concept of song keys, so they can understand why some songs work better than others, and they can begin to ask for what they need. Or if they're singer-songwriters, to write in keys that are more comfortable with them, for them. I have to tell you, pretty much every singer-songwriter I've ever worked with in 30 years, we've addressed this. Like writing songs in keys that are good for your voice. It's not, you would think it would be something that would be very intuitive and natural, but it's not usually. So that means that you, the voice teacher or coach, should keep your antenna up for the things that will make their musical experience empowering and fun. So what they need from you, or if they're working, also, so that they can work. What they need from you is to help them navigate their voices with contemporary popular music, especially for independent music teachers, because that is your prime directive. Most of your students, maybe all of your students, sometimes it's all of your students, want to sing popular styles or contemporary music theater. So if you are confident about that and you are successfully making changes in that with their voices, right? They are growing in that teeny tiny little chunk of time you have with your student every week. Then awesome, right on, go for it. You're rocking it. But if you're not confident about doing that, please, wait, where's my thing? Please go to my website and look into the info on the neurovocal training. It will help you feel empowered to teach your singers of all styles, popular styles, and contemporary music theater styles. It will just help you feel a lot more confident, and plus it's brainy, and plus it's fun, and we always have a good time. So you will love this class. So thank you very much for being here with me today. I am Meredith Colby. You can book me privately or for classes through my website, meredithcolby.com. Have a great week. Bye-bye.